But the typical combat loadout of the airplane then would include the 30-millimeter cannon and almost 1,200 rounds of 30-millimeter ammunition, plus 6 bombs, an assortment of Maverick missiles, the air-to-air missile, which we carry, the AIM-9 Sidewinder missile, which we carry for self-defense.
Armed to the teeth, few can challenge the firepower of the Warthog, and none can dispute its toughness.
The airplane, has often been said, and more often as a form of criticism rather than praise, that this is the only airplane that the Air Force ever bought that was designed to take hits, not avoid hits. And it's quite true. The airplane was designed to take hits and absorb damage and survive.
Every aspect of the Warthog can be traced to the simple concept that the airplane had to survive its grueling mission.
And the A-10 was designed with several thousand pounds of titanium steel surrounding critical flight components, one of which, of course, is the pilot. And this was an intentional design decision on the part of the designers, wherein they were willing to sacrifice fuel or ordnance load in favor of survivability.
Reinforced with nearly 3,000 pounds of titanium armor plating, the Warthog can survive direct hits from armor-piercing and high-explosive projectiles up to 23 millimeters. 1,200 pounds of the titanium surrounds the cockpit, enveloping the pilot in what is commonly referred to as a titanium bathtub. This bathtub of 1.5-inch armor gives Hog pilots added security as they undertake their dangerous missions. One of the features that gives the Warthog its undeniably unique profile is the placement of its engines. The A-10 had to have 2 engines for survivability. Fortunately, during the early stages of development, the designers found out that GE was working on turbofan engines for a new Navy anti-submarine aircraft. Turbofans had made inroads into civilian aircraft, but had not been much use in the military sphere. These engines held several advantages, which made them an excellent choice for the A-10. They offered high fuel efficiency, and they were less noisy than turbojets, and had a lower heat signature. Once the designers chose the type of engine, another issue arose: where to put them. The area under the wing was reserved for the heavy ordnance load. Eventually, the area near the back of the fuselage proved the best location, and placing the engines there also offered a number of advantages. It negated a potential yaw problem, decreased the probability that foreign objects might be sucked into the engines, and removed the engines from the major flow of the exhaust from the gun. The forward fuselage and wings also shield the engines from ground fire in the frontal section, and the vertical fins and rudder guard the engine's heat signature from the side, alleviating some of the aircraft's vulnerability to heat-seeking missiles. The Warthog's toughness is compounded by a number of structural and system redundancies. The dual redundancy of the hydraulic flight control systems is also backed up by a manual system. This enables Hog pilots to fly and land even if hydraulic power is lost. The Warthog's extraordinarily high mission capability rate during the Gulf War directly resulted from a design dedicated to ensuring the plane could be serviced and operated from bases with limited facilities close to the battlefield. Many of the A-10's parts, including the engines, main landing gear, tails, and vertical stabilizers, are interchangeable left to right. Interchanging as well as cannibalizing parts between aircraft is a standard maintenance procedure, one used with much success during Desert Storm.
The shape of the airplane, the fact that it's battlefield repairable with very simple surfaces, was all built into the airplane because the designers realized this airplane's probably going to take a hit.
The mission of the Warthog is such that hits are inevitable, and there have been and will be instances when the pilot must abandon his hog to save himself.
I'm the life support superintendent here at the Maryland International Guard, and part of my job is to ensure that pilots can remain safe while flying, but also in case of an emergency they have to eject, that we supply them with survival gear to ensure their survivability on the ground. And part of that gear that we would pack in their kits is provided here on the board behind me on display. And a couple of those items, first, outside of a large kit, we have two small kits that are contained inside. And inside these small kits would be the items that we have shown on the wall. And let me point a couple of those out. Obviously, we have the mittens and socks, both of wool, used for wintertime warmth, obviously not a problem now. We've got your knife, which is one of your basic utensils in survival. And we have a container to hold water. Water is one of your primary needs in a survival situation. And we do supply many packets of the flexible drinking water there with them. We do have food, but that is not as important as water. We also have, probably getting into the most regarding rescue, would be the flares, which we have the handheld launching flares. We have other flares here to direct rescue aircraft in to pick up that pilot. And as soon as that pilot would eject and hit the ground, his survival radio. Very important to talk to other aircraft in the air to let them know what his situation is, and also to talk to rescue to direct them to his location. Part of the A-10's mission is to fly low to the ground to give close air support to the troops there. So naturally this is going to put them in harm's way and leave them open to gunfire, missiles, and so forth. So the A-10 pilot probably finds himself in more jeopardy than the fast flyers flying at much higher altitudes. It's important that these items be there. Now, it's something that a part of our training, or a lot of our time is spent in training the pilot for something he may never need. However, should he need it, he needs to know that it is there and it will work, and fortunately could save his life.
We got the latest and greatest equipment that we can have out there, and it's constantly being upgraded. They're saying that we'll probably have it until 2025, so it's around for a while. Most of ours are 78, 79 version models out here, and so that's a pretty good long time for an airplane to be in service, and it's constantly being modified, and it's got a lot of capability.